Hello, friends. The story I am going to tell you today is about a girl whose innocent and beautiful face made her go viral on the internet overnight. But when people came to know of the global hero hidden behind her beautiful face, they were stunned. If we go back, this is what happened in the year 2020, that in November 2020, the original video of a girl suddenly making a face like this was about 7 years old from the year 2013. But in November 2020, people started talking about her with this video because that girl was beautiful and innocent in appearance. So now the question comes that who is this girl and what crime did she commit? The name of the girl I am talking about is Isabella Gajaman, who is the father of her mother Yoon Mi Hoi and stepfather Ryan. The story of her reaching the court begins on Tuesday, August 27, 2013, and at that time, Isabella was only 18 years old, and this is that part of the story. If it had not happened, Isabella would not have been able to reach the court, nor would that TikToker have gone viral, nor would I be telling you this story today. What happened was that on the evening of Tuesday, the 27th of August 2013, Isabella's mother, Yoon Mi Hoi, was in her studio. She was returning back to her home after finishing work, but as her car reached near her house, she saw that a boy jumped out of her window and ran away by crossing the iron mesh. When she saw the boy going towards her house, seeing her jumping out of the window and running away, it was then that she remembered what her neighbors had said. In fact, her neighbors had told Yumi Hue many times before that whenever she was not at home, Isabella would often go with her. She would bring different boys to her house, and as soon as those boys heard the sound of someone coming into the house, they would jump out of the window and run away. But at that time, she did not believe her words. But when on the evening of the 27th of August 2013, when she saw with her own eyes a boy running away from the window of Isabella's room, she was convinced that what her neighbors were saying was absolutely true. After this, she crossed her car and met her second husband, who was Isabella's stepfather. She went straight to Isabella's room and started asking about those boys, but Isabella did not answer any of her questions properly. Her parents tried to explain a lot, but instead of understanding anything, Isabella did the opposite. He started shouting loudly and abusing his mother, so much so that he spit on her mother's face in anger and went away. This shocked Yoon Mi Hoi a lot, and this rude behavior made him so angry, scared her to the point that she was afraid of even sleeping alone in her room. So she locked the door of her room from inside and stayed with her husband, Yeon Hoi, that whole night, whereas she often slept alone in her room before. Before I tell you the story of the next day, it is important for you to know how this story reached this point. Actually, Isabella Guzman was born on June 9, 1995 in the city of Aurora, Colorado. But at that time, she was living with her father, Robert Guzman, and her mother used to live elsewhere in the city with Yoon Mi Hoi Guzman. Together, her parents own a pet studio in the town center of Ada, which they name Bella Portrait Studio after their daughter because they both loved their daughter, Isabella. They loved each other very much, and Isabella also loved her parents very much, especially her father, Robert Guzman. The whole family was living their days happily, but then, by the year 1999, things started going wrong, and both the husband and wife bitterness started growing in their relationship. It became so big that both of them decided to divorce each other, and then, in the year 1999, Robert Guzman and Yoon Mi Hoi Guzman got divorced and separated from each other, and Isabella's age at that time was only she was 4 years old. Well, after the divorce, her mother got the custody of Isabella's, so now Isabella's started living somewhere else in the same city along with her mother. Isabella was a bit stubborn and angry type since childhood, but after the divorce of her parents, she had now become more stubborn and irritable, but Isabella's anger turned into hatred when about a year after the divorce, in the year 2000, her mother Yomi married another man, Ryan Hui. Isabella was shocked by this. She was very angry that now her father was replaced by someone else, and she did not want this at all because she loved her real father, Robert Guzman, very much. And this is where things start to go from bad to worse, because with time, as Isabella was growing up, her anger also increased day by day. She would demand expensive clothes and toys from her mother, and when her demand was not fulfilled, she would fight with her mother on this issue and would try her best to avoid a fight. To fulfill all the demands of Isabella, she started doing other part-time jobs apart from her studio. But still, she was not able to fulfill many of Isabella's demands. When Isabella's was only 6 years old, her angry behavior, her mother became so upset that it became difficult to handle her. So she sent Isabella to her biological father, Robert. But after a few days, she came back to her mother. Although despite this, there was no improvement in her behavior. After this, when Isabella turned 1 year old, she also left her religion. Actually, Isabella's parents and stepfather were all Zoists, and which is a branch of Christianity. But people who believe in this religion neither believe in Christmas, nor these people do not celebrate Easter nor any other holidays, even their birthdays. And perhaps because of all these restrictions, Isabella left her religion and became a completely free-thinking girl. She would not listen to her father and would not go to school properly, but would roam around with her friends all day. Many times, she would remain missing from home and school for 4 days, and when her mother would admonish her, she would start fighting with her. I was also an average student. She used to pass somehow, but when she was in 12th class, her attendance was so low that year that she was expelled from the school just a week before the final exams of high school, and his mother was very shocked by this thing, even after explaining it to her a lot. But it did not make any difference to her. But the limit was reached when on the evening of the 27th of August 2013, after explaining it to her, she did something which she had never done before today. And that was spitting on her mother's face, after which Yumi Hoi spent the whole night in fear. Well, somehow, that night of the 27th of August 2013 passed, and the next day came. The next day, early morning on Wednesday, the 28th of August 2013, when Yumi Hoi Ho checks her mobile and sees that Isabella had sent her a mail last night. But when she opens the mail, she is shocked because there were only 3 words written in that mail, "You will pay," in which Isabella, what she meant to say was that you will have to suffer for whatever you have done to me. After seeing this mail, Yunmi gets even more scared. Then she also shows this mail to her husband, and now he does not understand this. Wondering what to do, Yumi finally decides to call the police and calls the police in the afternoon of the 28th of August 2013, after which the police reaches the house. After the police reach, they find out the whole matter and that mail. It is told about the complaint which was sent by Isabella, but since it was a domestic matter, the police first explains it to Isabella, and then also gives a warning that if she behaves like this again, her mother will throw her out of the house. Because according to American law, any parent can throw their children out of the house after 18 years of age, and Isabella had turned 18 only 2 months ago in June 2013. So after burning Isabella, the police left from there. After that, Isabella also goes to her bedroom, and Yumi leaves for the town center to go to her work. But there was still a fear in Yumi's mind, so when she reached her studio, she told all this. She also told her first husband, Robert Guzman. Robert advised her to go home and talk to Isabel and make her understand. Well, I forgot to tell you that although I and Robert Guzman were divorced, they were still together. Bella was working in the studio, so after listening to the whole story, Robert Guzman reached Isabel's house on the same day evening of the 28th of August 2013. At that time, Isabella was still in her bedroom. After the police left in the afternoon, she was in her room. She did not come out of the bedroom, but when her father reached there, he took Isabel to the backyard of the house and sat there and started explaining to her calmly that whatever she did was very wrong and she should respect her elders. One should listen to him, one should not insist on everything, etc. For the next 1 to 1.5 hours, he kept on explaining to Isabel like this, and during this entire conversation, Isabel did not utter a single word from her mouth. She just silently followed everything her father said, listened, and were nodding their heads in the affirmative. Seeing the way Isabel was listening to her father very attentively, Robert thought that maybe now she would try to change herself. But the truth was that Isabel was not listening to any of her father's advice. She was also not paying attention to anything. She was just listening to everything from one ear and taking it out from the other because something else was going on in her mind, which she had probably already planned to explain to Isabella. Later, her father leaves from there around 6:30 p.m., and after this, Isabel also goes back to her bedroom. Just 3 hours later, around 9:30 p.m., Yun Mi Hoi also returns home after finishing her work. After reaching home, Yun Mi Hoi asks her husband where Isabel is, and he says that he does not know. But yes, he had seen Isabel in the kitchen of the house about an hour ago around 6:30. Listen to Ryan. After this, Yun Mi Hoi goes upstairs to the bathroom on the first floor to take a bath, and here Ryan sits in the living room and starts having his dinner. Shortly after this, just before 10 p.m., Ryan suddenly falls from the first floor above. A thump is heard. It sounds like someone has fallen to the ground or hit a wall or something. A few seconds later, she screams his name at them. On hearing his name, Ryan jumps up and runs to the bathroom and sees that the bathroom door was open and the sound of the shower running was heard. Then, when he went closer to the bathroom, he saw a glimpse of Eibel inside the bathroom. But as soon as he pushed the door to enter the bathroom, Eibel came inside. He tried his best to lock the door from inside. After this, loud shouting sounds of Yun Mi Hoi started coming from inside, and from outside, Ryan started banging the bathroom door, but the door did not open. He tried his best to open the door, but to no avail. He was still thinking of how to open the door when he looked down and saw that blood was flowing out from under the bathroom, and on seeing this, his breath turned sour. He immediately ran down and went down, picked up his phone, and called the police on 911. It was around 10:05 p.m. On the call, Ryan told the police that his wife and stepdaughter were locked inside the bathroom, and he felt that his daughter was his wife. After this, Ryan started telling the police about what happened last night and morning, and reached upstairs when suddenly, Ryan made a loud noise, heard the voice, "Oh God," and this voice was none other than his wife Yun Mi Hoi, and this was her last voice. After that, everything became completely silent. After a while, the bathroom door opened, and from inside Isabel was wearing a pink-colored sports bra, and she came out wearing turquoise-colored shorts. Her entire clothes and body were stained with blood, and she was holding a knife in her right hand from which blood was still dripping. Seeing Isabel in this condition, Ryan was stunned, and he remained standing where he was. He felt that now it was his turn to be next. But Isabel did not even look at Ryan, nor did she have any expression on her face. She went straight from Rihan's side and went down to the backyard. After this, Ryan immediately ran to the bathroom, but as soon as he reached the bathroom, the ground slipped under his feet because there was blood scattered all over the bathroom, and his wife was lying naked on the bathroom floor with Yun Mi Hoi in her arms. But there was a big and deep cut mark and numerous stab wounds all over his face and chest. A girl's baseball bat was also lying next to him. Ryan was still on call, and when he informed the police about his wife's condition, when I told him, the police asked him to give CPR to his wife. Ryan started giving CPR to Yun Mi Hoi, but to no avail. Looking at Yun Mi Hoi, it was clear that she was dead. Well, 11 minutes after Ryan's call, around 10 p.m. Police also reached there at 1 a.m., and shortly thereafter, the medical team also arrived. Investigation was done, and at 10:02 p.m. on the 28th of August 2013, he was declared dead and the body was sent for post-mortem. After this, the police. She starts searching for Isabella, but she is not found anywhere in the entire house. Then the police looks in the backyard of the house, because after coming out of the bathroom, Isabella had gone towards her, but from there also the police did not find anything. Now the police find the signal of Isabel's phone. They try to find her location through internet, but here too they do not get any success because Isabel's phone was switched off. After this, the police issues a public advisory through the media because she can be a threat to the common people as well. There was also a weapon nearby, and she appeals to the public that wherever she sees anyone, she should immediately inform the police. Meanwhile, the next morning on the 29th of August 2013, the post-mortem report of Yoon Mi-hoy also came in, which it was found that Yoon Mi-hoy was accused of she was attacked with a knife 79 times, out of which she was stabbed 31 times on her face and 48 times on her neck and chest. However, later during the court hearing, it was revealed that Yoon Mi-hoy was attacked not 79 times, but 100 times, out of which he was attacked 45 times on his face, 51 times on his neck, and the remaining 65 attacks were made on different parts of the body. Apart from this, he was also beaten with a baseball before being stabbed. When this post-mortem report came in the media, so soon this news spread like wildfire across America. People could not believe that a daughter had murdered her own mother in such a brutal manner. The police was also busy searching for Isabella, but till now, they have not found her. There was no success when suddenly, around 11:30 that morning, an anonymous call comes to 911, in which it is told that a blood-soaked body is lying inside a car in the parking garage of 2851 South Park Road. As soon as they were found, the Aurora police immediately went towards South Park Road, but when they reached the parking garage there, the car inside which the body was lying had disappeared. Now the police could not understand why a dead body was lying in the car. Where did she disappear from inside, and that too in broad daylight? But when the police searched that car, they found some things in that car which were being linked to the murder of Isabella and Yoon Mi-hoy, hence the police in plain uniform. Some policemen were deployed in the entire area. About 2 hours passed, but the police did not find anything. Then they saw a girl coming out of the parking garage who was wearing a pink-colored sports bra and turquoise-colored shorts. It seemed that she could be Ibel, but still the police wanted to confirm. So one of the undercover officers went close to the girl on the pretext of talking to her. When he looked at the girl closely, he was convinced that she was Isabella Guzman. After this, he started following Isabel. After some time, 2 more policemen in plain clothes started walking with him, and as soon as they reached near a bush in the parking lot outside, those 3 policemen surrounded Isabel and started talking to her. Here too, Isabella tried to mislead the police and said that they had arrested the wrong girl. Even when the police showed her her ID to identify her, she said that the girl with the ID had the same face. So, she definitely meets her, but she is not Isabella Guzman. But she said that her name is Samantha Gohul, and she lives in Ohio, but the blood on her clothes clearly indicated that she is Isabel. So the police, they did not believe anything he said, and finally the police arrested Isabella Guzman at 2 p.m. on August 29, 2013, almost 16 hours after the murder, from a parking area just 1.5 kilometers away from her house. But there was still a question left. After all, whose dead body was there in the car, and where did it disappear? Then the answer to this is that the dead body lying in that car was not a dead body, but was Isabella herself. What actually happened was that after murdering her mother last night, Later, Isabella picked up the car from home and parked it in a parking garage near 2851 South Park Road, about a kilometer away from her home, and then went to sleep on the back seat of the same car, and because her entire body and clothes were covered with water. There was blood. So the next morning, when people saw Isabella sleeping in the car, they thought that there was a dead body lying in the car. By the time the police reached there, Isabella had got up from the car and gone inside the parking garage, and when she came out, she was found dead. Well, after arresting Isabella, the police charged her with first-degree murder and then sent her to Aurora City Jail on judicial custody. About a week later, on the morning of September 5, 2013, Isabel was arrested in Colorado County. She had to appear in the court where charges would be imposed on her by the court, but that day she refused to go to the court in the morning. She was not coming out of her cell, due to which the court hearing was postponed till afternoon. Had to be postponed, but later somehow, she was forcefully pulled out of her cell and then presented in the court. That day, she was not behaving like a normal person since morning. At first, she refused to come to the court, due to which she had to be brought forcefully, and when she reached the court, she was sometimes smiling at the media cameras and sometimes making strange faces. The county court judge imposed murder and violence charges on Isabel and also gave this order: that until her trial is completed, until then, no bail can be taken. After this, about 9 months passed, and in June 2014, the trial of Isabella Guzman started, and because when she murdered her mother, she was an 18-year-old. She was an adult, and seeing the brutality with which she attacked her mother with a knife 151 times, it was certain that Isabel would receive the maximum punishment death penalty. But as soon as the hearing started in the court, Isabel spoke to Dr. Richard Ponce in front of the judge through her lawyer, presented a report in which it was clearly written that Isabel's mental condition is not good and she is suffering from a mental illness called paranoid schizophrenia. Later, Dr. Richard Ponce in his testimony also confirmed Isabel's mental illness. Apart from this, he also told in the court that at the time Isabella was killing her mother, she did not know that she was killing her mother, but she thought that she was killing a woman named Cecilia, and in doing so, for this, she has dreams, and if she had not done so, then according to her, the whole world would have been destroyed. Court Judge George Browser, after seeing and listening to all the reports and arguments, gave his verdict, and in that decision, he found Isabella's mental condition not good. No punishment was given to her due to her crime, and she was sent to the Mental Health Institute of Colorado for her treatment, and it was said that she would remain there until Isabella was no longer a danger to herself and society, even if it was a year. Whether it took 2 years or her whole life, after the court order, Belle was sent to the Mental Health Institute of Colorado, and for the next 6 years or more than 6 years, Isabella remained in the same mental health institute and was treated. But then, in November 2020, when Isabel was 25 years old, she gave an interview to the media in which she told about a new thing. She said that everyone at home treated her very badly when she was 14 years old. When she left her religion, she started being tortured even more. However, when it was later investigated, no evidence was found that she was ill-treated at home. Apart from this, she also told that when she told her mother she was not in her senses when she murdered, but now she has completely recovered and is no longer a threat to herself or the society. Hence, she should be released from this mental health institute. I was not myself when I did that, and I have since been restored to full health. At the same time, when this interview of her came in the media about what she had done in the past, suddenly people came forward in her support, and that too, just because she was beautiful and innocent looking. People even started saying that Isabella deserved the murder of her mother, and such things make one think about where humanity is going. Although Isabel definitely benefited from this video, this happened because the very next year in June 2021, Isabella Guzman was released from the mental institute on the condition that she would continue to take therapy from her doctor on time. So overall, whatever Isabel did, even if she did it in anger, it was due to mental problem. That is a different matter, but the sad thing is that the way people later tried to justify his crime just by looking at his face without thinking and knowing the whole story is very wrong, whereas we believe that it is absolutely so. We should not judge any criminal based on his beauty, complexion, richness, or poverty, but based on the crime he has committed. So this was the whole story of Isabella Guzman. What do you have to say about this case? Comment us. Do let us know if you like this story of ours. Then don't forget to subscribe our channel and like and share that video.